He's the one.
He's the one. Deconstruction of intent and consent. And here you further put the spotlight on the R word. We put ourselves in context, and then we see ourselves with a certain distance. And I thought that was like the genius of this short. And so I was thinking, was that the main intent here?
I think with this film, like all my projects, like I try to back myself into a corner emotionally where can I cuss?
Yes, of course.
Where I'm just fucked.
Yes.
Like, if I was going to meet the man of my dreams right now, had a soulmate, oh my God, he's my guy, and he's the guy that, you know, we had shared this traumatic experience and he had harmed me in this way. Like, I literally don't know what I would have done. And it had me spiraling in this, like, oh my God, can people change? Could I ever forgive that person? And I was like at a parking lot in like the Trader Joe's in Glendale, and I was like, fuck, like what would I do? And I just like knew that I had a movie. And I feel like it's those kind of questions that don't have one answer, that show like the inconsistencies and the paradoxes of being a human, of having trauma, of having to forgive people. I knew that was like a juicy, really, really dangerous place, and I really wanted to go there.
Would you say that, so it's one thing to have directed this, but it's another thing to put yourself in camera, so is that boxing yourself in another box?
By acting?
Yeah, by playing that part.
Well, you know, there's certain things that I write that, you know, I don't need to be in, and I like to do all different roles, but there's certain projects, and this is really similar to my show, The Skinny, that I had a couple years ago, where it comes from such a deeply personal place, and it's, you know, this is my producer, Tasha, you know, it's financial, really. It was like, are we going to spend money, you know, to pay a young Jewish actress? And it just didn't make sense. Like, I'll just be in it. And it was really only because I had Tasha and my producer, DP Richard Card, that I was really able to create this environment where I can kind of wear all these different hats and look at the shot and arrange it. It's because I have this whole support system that allows me to wear all these hats.
Kudos on the very crafty title.
Thank you.
I appreciate the two lines of thinking. The title... bring about all these ideas, or did the title come a little bit later in?
Yeah, so my manager, Paul Young, actually came up with the title, and we were like, should we call it rape? Like, we just didn't know, like, what are you supposed to, because that's what we were talking about. It was like, how can you have compassion for this person? And I always talk about having experience with sexual assault. Like, it's a guy that, like, I couldn't pick him up out of a lineup anymore, but he's like one of the most important men in my life, right? And also this idea of like me trying to like find the one right now. So yeah, Paul texted it to me, and I almost crashed my car because I was like, oh shit, like that's it, you know?
I think you're at ease at playing within the entire scope or strand of comedy. And this certainly goes into the black comedy, and then there's certain rage elements, and I was wondering, for you, why is that your main tool for this aspect? Go for it.
This is the rage element he's talking about.
Beautiful.
Played so well.
And that's a great montage element there.
Thank you.
Yeah, it goes back to my first question about those different strands and how we relate to that experience. So
yeah, I mean, I think to me, I'm never like, this is what I want to do, and this is the tone that I'm going for. Like, I learned by making. I never went to film school. You know, this is a project. I spent 5 years developing the feature, trying to explain the tone to people. And it's like music. Like, you can't talk about music at a certain point. You just have to listen to it. So I knew with this script, I was like, tone-wise, like, I just have to make it. Because it is funny, but it is also, like, really exploring female rage and, you know, looking at somebody who, yeah, could be a love interest. I mean, it's so, I know in my own experience, like having my own healing experience, really the most healing thing for me has been laughter, and also being able to be not okay, being able to be a woman and be enraged, and, you know, being like, oh, I'm not okay, and that's okay. And so all of these things are in the film. And I knew I just kind of had to show it, you know.
Well, I speak for many people. Thank you for putting yourself out there and for dealing with this traumatic experience in a way that I think is a lot of people can relate to and sort of like make an intelligent discourse, but also lessen the load.
But I will say, you know, I think Me Too has been incredible. It's so important to have this movement. It's been so transformative. But in my own experience, what's been happening over the past year is everything's happening on social media, everything's happening in the news, everything's happening on panels. But then we're actually going in rooms and actually talking about stuff, and you know, women are going over here, men are going over here, nobody wants to get in trouble, nobody wants to say the wrong thing. Well, it is Weinstein the same as that? And well, what about if I didn't mean? And I've had so many conversations with guys who are like, I've had nights that I don't remember, and you know what I mean? I don't know what happened. And so I think for there to be proactive dialogue, we have to kind of come from this place of compassion where there's been a lot of collective pain, and I think anger's really healthy, but I also think we need to feel safe enough, or at least I needed to feel safe enough to be able to be honest and have an honest conversation, you know? So I'm hoping the film will be a catalyst for that.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your short. Thank you
And
very
you wanna
much for
say
your time.
anything?
Yeah,
Go,
say
go.
something, yeah.
This is
Producer.
a kind of a proof for a feature that is already written.
Oh,
that
producer.
that we are looking for funding for, and I think that the story and the dialogue and the conversation could continue beyond this short.
Can I ask her a question? Yeah, for sure.
Go.
Email Tasha for the script. But what was the most challenging thing for you producing this movie? Because Tasha put the entire movie together. We shot it in one day. So yeah, what was it?
Honestly, the hardest part was dealing with LA film permitting. To be honest,
Say more, because people
and-
I don't think
well,
people know.
Just there was a difficult man that lived across the street from our location, and
Yeah, they're fed up, right? Everybody's fed up.
you could say that.
Yeah.
But we had to canvass the neighborhood and get so many approvals to be able to get a permit to shoot at this house, and I had people helping me, literally driving around this neighborhood for basically 3 days straight. Even Jessie went once.
I went knocking.
They basically kept denying us until we got enough of these yeses from neighbors. Like, they kept expanding our area, and that was probably the hardest, most stressful thing, because we didn't even have confirmation to be able to shoot a location until less than 3 days before we were supposed to shoot there, and the whole shot list and everything was really planned around this location. So that was kind of like a
Wow, it
last
sounds
minute,
like
nail biter.
Gerrymandering or something.
Totally. I don't even know. I don't even want to know what she did.
We
but
definitely
she made it.
gerrymandered the district that we got
Some
approvals
people
from.
got baked cakes, and some people, I don't know.
But you had these rich Beverly Hills women being like, "What's your movie about?" And I was like, "It's a dating comedy."
Yeah.
But I will say, like, a lot of people ask me, because I make my own work, you know, and a lot of people are like, "But how do you do it? How do you get into production?" And you find somebody like Tasha. You have to get a producer that's gonna be really, really fucking hardcore and super, super charming.
Go to bat for you.
And really actually put the movie together.
Yeah.
And just stuff that you don't even think about. But yeah, you have to find somebody like Tasha.
Bless the producers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
I mean, I can't pay you anymore, but.
Hey, this is Eric from myoncinema.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.